Hey guys, Speedoz here, and today I bring you a new video about a self-curse build, which is not my build. I'm just making an update version because this build is mainly used by endgame players who wanna just zoom by the maps, feel like they are immortal. And this build has gone through two main nerfs, two consecutive nerfs in the past two leagues. One of them is in 3.10 Temporal Chains, now has 50% less effect against players, so we need more curse effect. And on this patch, Hexproof now acts like a immunity effect. Whenever you mapping, eventually you receive from the Headhunter buff the immunity effect Hexproof, and it will instantly remove any curse that we have on us. This means that basically all the synergy that we gain from using these unique items, now the Headhunter buff goes back to the regular 20-second duration, which we don't want to happen. So now we are going for the Occultist Ascendancy, or you want to go with the Cosprey's Will chest. So we've reached level 95 with this build. For the Pantheon, I'm getting Lunaris and Gruffcool. For the Bandits, we've killed them all for 2 extra passive points. And now the Ascendancy, first of all, is Profane Bloom, which we can now apply curses to hexproof enemies. This basically ignores the nerf that we received. Second, Ascendancy is Forbidden Power, gives them some AoE spell damage per power charge and also plus 1 power charge. Then Malediction, we can apply additional curse, we gain some increased effect of your curses. Also we gain increased effect here from these two nodes. Last of all, Vile Bastion. Since we are converting all of our physical damage to fire damage, now we're going to get the Vile Bastion because we can get some recovery energy shield, and also we cannot be stunned while we have energy shield, which is basically all the time. So we don't have to worry about getting stunned at all. A good Watcher's Eye for this build is physical damage converted to fire damage while affected by anger, at least 30%, considering our Signal Fire equipped and also our Anointment, which I'll explain in a moment. So at least 30% conversion, and if you can and have currency, you can get the multiplier while affected by anger, which can basically helps us a little bit before getting all the Headhunter buffs. So it helps us to build our snowball. Alright, and also we are using 3 inspired learnings. I don't remember exactly the last time that I saw this cheap expired learning is. At the moment it is costing only 70 chaos, which means half exalted only. So what this jewel does, it acts like a headhunter, but in a worse way, but it is still good if you have plenty of them. So Headhunter steals all the modifiers from the rare monsters, and Inspired Learning only steals 1. But you can use as many Inspired as you can. So we are using 3 on this build, and it needs 4 notable allocated in radius. So we have 4 notables here. We also have 4 notables here, and also 4 notables here. Then we are able to use 3 inspired learnings. Alright, this can stack with Headhunter, so it is pretty good to use all of them. Alright, talking about cluster jewels, since we received that nerf regarding temporal chains, now we need even more curse effects. For the large cluster jewels, we are used to exact 2 equal jewels, 2 large clusters with 8 passive skills and increased damage with Prismatic Hard, Sadist, and Widespread Destruction. This is the same, right? So Widespread Destruction gives us AoE and elemental damage, Sadist some increased elemental damage as well, and Prismatic Hard also gives us increased elemental damage and elemental resist, which is very nice considering that we are using plenty of uniques, and it's a bit hard to cap all of your resistances. Not with the 3.11 harvest, because you know it's pretty easy to gain all those tier 1's modifiers, but in regular leagues it is a bit hard to get and to cap all these resistances. Talking about medium cluster jewels, all 4 of them they need 6 passive skills with the 5% increased effect our curses. Alright, two medium clusters here are different. These two medium clusters are the same. First medium cluster here is Dark Discourse and Master of Fear. Master of Fear makes the enemy be unnerved, which means that they are taking increased spell damage. And Dark Discourse, we use it for the 10% increased effect of curses. Dark Discourse here again, and Wish for Death because we gain Culling Strike against cursed enemies. These two medium clusters are exactly the same. We're aiming for Dark Discourse once again for the 10% and Whispers of Death, for the 5% and the increased damage if we've killed a cursed enemy recently. Same thing here, because we're aiming for 175% curse effect with the Solstice Vigil. Alright, the regular duels are pretty much a maximum life, 2 modifiers with multiplier if you can, and a global physical damage. They are very welcome as well. I bought cheaper ones, maximum life and multiplier for spells only. They cost each 20 chaos. For the gear, we are using a sniper bow with plus gems. I even made a video about how to craft this one. You can look at the harvest crafting section in the playlist on this channel. Unfortunately, it is I'm talking Portuguese on that video, but you can see through the slides the process. So I'm telling you which essence to use, which mod to fracture, what fossils to use. So I think it's pretty easy to understand, even with the Portuguese audio. Sorry for that, but I hope you can understand the craft. So also, this bow here is very useful because it gives some spell damage, some critical strike multiplier, and the plus gems, which can make our Blade Vortex become level 30, which is a lot of damage for our build. The helmet here, it is very easy to craft with 3.11, but the most important thing is the enchantment, 30% increased Temporal Chains Curse effect. What you can do is buy a item level 85 Hubris, use a Warlord's Exalted, craft the elemental damage with the Prismatic Fossil, the elemental one, or alterations, and then keep auging the remaining modifiers. You can craft a fire resistance and then aug fire. You can aug lightning rest, so you can have all the suffixes. After you gain the minus fire resist, you can fulfill the prefixes and then aug critical, so you can have the global critical strike multiplier. You can craft another resist, so you can have all the suffixes filled. You can then aug critical again for the +1 power charge, and then you can aug life, so you can have your helmet ready to go. The Solstice Vigil, it is very important because it gains Shaper's Presence for 10 seconds whenever we kill a rare or unique monster. These will make our buffs expire for a longer duration, so it is very important to use one of these. Temporal Chains also has 100% reduced mana reservation if cast as an aura, so we can use Temporal Chains with Blasphemy, for example, for this build. And we use Magmatic Strikes, which is a cheap anointment for this build, helps us with the physical damage converted to fire damage, and also gains 5% of physical damage as extra fire, which is nice for the damage. Circle of Anguish, this ring here has two nice modifiers: increased fire damage while affected by Heart of Ash, and also Heart of Ash has increased buff effect. This will boost our damage, and this will help us with our clear, which is very good as well. The other ring is a opal ring, preferably, but mainly you want to look for the level 12 or level 8 SS mark on hit with some nice damage if you can, but preferably you want to look for high resists and also some life to help you cap your build. Our Quiver, is a signal fire. The main important role here is the gain physical damage as extra fire, so I bought the cheapest one. The corruption modifier doesn't really matter. If you can aim for a physical damage as extra fire on the implicit, but it is very expensive. Last time that I checked was 20 exalts, the cheapest one, and then the second one was 50. So I don't know, I just passed because this is just me maxing. And this helps us with the 50% physical damage converted to fire damage. So you need signal fire, the anointment already 70% converted, and the last 30% you want to have from the Watcher's Eye conversion. Okay. Then, since we are using the Occultist, we don't need to use the Cosper's Will, which gives us space for the rare chests. So explosion property with chance to gain frenzy charge on hit, very nice. So the last modifiers you are looking are resist and life basically. You can also craft 10% maximum life as extra energy shield. So pretty nice chests to have once you don't need to use Cosper's Will. Alright. Now the main synergy of the build are about Calm's Roots, Headhunter, Shackles, and Solstice Vigil. What happens here when you have a Headhunter is that you steal the modifiers from a rare monster for 20 seconds, right? If you kill a rare monster, you also gain Shaper's Presence. This will make your buffs expire for a longer period. Any buffs, even the Flasks duration or any other buffs that you have here, even the modifiers from a rare monster. Once you have that, you can also use Shackles. What this gloves does is that when you are cursing an enemy, it will reflect the curse back to you. So we curse the enemy with Temporal Chains. The Temporal Chains makes the enemy action speed a lot less. So you can see there are 52% less action speed, and also other effects on cursed enemies expire slower. So to not get that slow, we can use Calm's Roots because our action speed cannot be modified to below base value. This means that we will never be slower than this speed. You can gain speed from the Quicksilver, we can gain speed from the Corruptions, but those speeds will apply on the top of the base value. So you can see here later on also, it will be very easy to gain speed with all those Headhunters modifiers. And also, those effects of Temporal Chains will make the buffs expire lower. So with all those curse effect modifiers, increased effect modifiers that we have on our cluster jewels, these will make our Headhunter buffs endure for a longer period. Probably more than 1 minute if I'm not mistaken. So it's really long, the period, alright? So you really need to have the Solstice Vigil, the Calm's Roots, and the Temporal Chains. You can see with the Solstice Vigil, I don't have the math, but all we know is that you need 75% increased curse effect if you are wearing Solstice Vigil. So 30 comes from the helmet, 10% comes from the Curse on Hit gem. So the last 135% must come from other places, such as your Ascendancy and the cluster jewels. You can check there on your character tab, on the MISC tab, 135% curse effect modifier. This is very important for you to check when you are building this character to min-max the duration, the increased effect of our buffs. Talking about the gems, we have Blade Vortex, Unleash, Combustion, Empower, Increased AoE and Inspiration, Herald of Ash, Enlighten, Portal, Anger, and also this setup here must be in the gloves because it will make the curse here be reflected back to you. So you have a Temporal Chains, Enhance, Curse on Hit, and Heart of Thunder. I have Elemental Weakness here, but that's not necessary at all. It just increases our damage, okay, on the gloves as you can see here. And Awaken Blasphemy with Temporal Chains. Second Wind, Dash, Val Righteous Fire, and Arcane Surge. You can see how the mobs will get very slow with the Awaken Temporal Chains and all that curse effect. And you can also see that whenever you use Dash, we gain Arcane Surge, which helps us with some very nice damage. So the mobs here are walking around in that speed, when as soon as we go between them, all the curse effects from the Temporal Chains make them very slow here. You can see how slow they are. It's just unfortunate that I'm getting hit by these mobs here. But you can see that the rest of the mobs become very slow as they approach. The infect here helps us with this snowball, because this character is a bit dangerous to play if you don't have all the buffs. But as soon as you receive all the buffs, it's very easy to play. Alright. Talking about the Flasks, I'm using a Series Promise, so we can have all the buffs regarding the physical damage that we have, and also the elemental damage converted as extra chaos damage. We have a Diamond Flask because we crit, Quartz Flasks for our better movementation, gives us phasing, it is very nice. Cinder Swallow, some crit chains, but also survivability speaking, it is very nice. And also Quicksilver. You can also swap the Quicksilver for a Wise Oak if you prefer. You will see in the mods, in mapping, or even in 5-way, you won't actually need a Wise Oak after you got the speed modifier, which will make your character just zoom through the maps. So it is very easy to play even without Quicksilver. So once again, you have to remember, whenever you're making this build, you need 175% curse effect with Solstice Vigil. So 30% comes from your Helm enchantment, which is Temporal Chains curse effect. The other 10% comes from your Curse on Hit quality gem, which is 10%. Then you need 135% in your Misc tab, in your character tab. 25% you will see that comes from your Ascendancy. The first jewel will give you 25%, the other jewel will give you 25%. The jewels from your right on your part of the tree will give you 30% each, so in total it will be 135% with 40%, which is in total 175% with Solstice Vigil. So overall speaking, this build is designed basically for those people who just want to zoom through the maps, be giants, you know, with all those Headhunter modifiers, and basically it makes you feel immortal. So I had to update this build. There you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and this was useful. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.